Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to this educational presentation of how to get tomorrow's trade signals a day in advance. Now let's start out today's educational presentation by looking at this chart. Okay, someone just looking at this would say, well, we've got probably about 2 or 3 weeks of data here, but the market appears to be just going sideways. Nothing much is happening in this stock. So there's really no idea, and after all, we can't see the volume, we can't see where the Fibonacci support and resistance are. We don't know what the institutions are doing, and my chat room hasn't brought this stock up, so I have no idea how to trade it. Well, as you can see, it looked as if it was doing nothing, but then the very next day on the 4th, which was just this past week, the stock rose 70 points in one day. Well, in today's presentation, I'm going to show you how you actually could have scanned the entire universe of stocks and had a buy signal generated by one of our most consistent strategies the day before that big move. So this promises to be a great presentation, and we're going to show you how simple it is to do all this. And if you missed it, actually, there was another signal that was generated a week earlier. You could have generated actually 80 points potentially of capture. So this is all made simple on our new platform. This is the PTS Primo charting platform I developed with Pro Trader Strategy. So we're really excited to talk about this today and show you exactly how it works. So welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. And if you're new to my webinars on Saturday, we are all about teaching you how to trade and making trading simple for you. You see, it's been estimated that upwards of 80% of all traders fail. And by fail, I mean you basically give all your money away, your nest egg, what you've saved and put aside for trading. And so we don't want to do this. There's plenty enough. There's enough profits, enough for everyone to go around. You don't have to look at the markets as if they are a zero-sum game. I mean, you can if you want to, but why? They're just, an infinite amount of profits to go around. So why would you even think of it that way? It's almost like saying, well, breathing is a zero-sum game. So there's only a short supply of oxygen for me to take in because someone else is taking my breath away. It would be just as silly as saying that. There's enough for everyone to go around. So we feel the best way to get you on track to becoming a consistent trader is by simply educating you so that you can make your own trading decisions. I mean, think of it. You make your trading decisions probably like the majority of all traders do by going to some chat room or some signal service or by having some master system that automatically spits out the buy and sell signals for you. Well, we have a scanner today that will do that, but at the same time, we teach you what you're looking for so that you can make your own decisions as to what you want to decide to trade for the next day. Okay, this is why we say we are first and foremost an educational company. So you'll see how much attention we give to educating you in today's presentation. But before we begin, as always, we are first required by law to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using our particular scanner to scan for tomorrow's trades a day in advance. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And also please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Also, once again, I'd like to invite all of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. You may want to copy it down if you haven't done so already. I post a lot of great free information every day on Twitter, anywhere from signals our strategies have generated to little bits of financial wisdom. So lots of great free educational information. Feel free to follow us on Twitter. Okay, so as we stated in the opening statements, we are an educational company. This means we're a little bit different from everybody else in the fact that we're not trying to force feed you signals. I get emails on a daily basis from prospective students saying, Steve, what's the best market to trade? Or what do you think the best strategy is? Or what do you think the best time frame is? And I always say, well, the best one is the one that makes you feel the most comfortable. There is no right or wrong answer. If you're looking for someone to tell you how to trade, you've really come to the wrong place, because our goal is to teach you how to trade so that you can virtually make your own trading decisions going forward. See, we don't want you to rely on us or anyone else, but we just want you to get the education so that you can become a consistent trader. In my 41 years of trading, this is the only way one becomes consistent, not by relying on someone to tell them how to trade or someone telling them what to buy or sell, but by relying on your own education. And this is what we provide. This is the gap that we fill. So 41 years ago when I was struggling, my mentors taught me these same things. So hopefully, if I teach you the same things, you'll be able to be trading 30, 40, maybe even 50 years down the road. Okay, so before we begin, once again, this is an educational class, so I want you to ask as many questions as you like. But since I don't want to take all of your Saturday morning, if we stop at every slide, we may be here way too long. So just if you could kindly remember or write down your questions, I promise I'll get to them at the very end of today's class. This won't be a real long one, so don't worry, you won't be here all afternoon. And then also, I will answer this one question, and that's the most common one, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. So if you have to leave early or if you're having issues with your computer, don't worry, we will send each and every one of you a link to this recording. Okay, so once again, we have a good crowd here today. If you joined us late, please wait till the end of class to ask questions. And remember, everything I'm sharing with you today is going to be generated using our platform. This is the PTS Primo Charting platform. I developed this with Pro Trader Strategies, and we strongly feel it's the educational platform that teaches traders how to trade. Remember, we are only an educational company. Our only goal is to educate you. And I've put all of my 41 years of experience onto this platform so that it can actually be your personal mentor right there with you when you just click on the different strategies and signals there. Okay? All right, with that stated, let us begin today's presentation. We're going to be talking about getting the trade signals a day in advance, and what this involves is a simple process. Now, it's probably going to take me longer to explain this process today than it would actually be to do it in real time. In real time, it probably takes less than a minute. But let me share with you and take it slowly, step by step, what you would do to get tomorrow's signals a day in advance. All right, let's take it step by step. And step number one is simply to plot a chart. Now, I know this goes without saying, well, sure, I got to plot a chart. But when we say plot a chart, we mean that you can virtually plot any chart. I don't care if you want to plot a 5-minute chart. I don't care if you want to plot a currency pair chart. It doesn't matter if you want to plot an E-mini chart. We provide you with all of those on our platform. So, in other words, choose the chart or the market you want to trade. So let's just say, once again, let's look at AZO. This was the initial display we shared with you at the beginning of the presentation. So let's say it was December 3rd, last week. You plotted this chart, and we go to step number 2. After we've plotted the chart, we simply choose a strategy. Now, let's choose one of our most consistent strategies. That's strategy number 4. And we have a multitude of strategies. We have different indicators. We have different trending tools. We have different entry techniques, but let's plot an actual strategy. And as we can see here in our green strategy tab on our platform, we have a number of different techniques and strategies. Let's plot strategy number 4. Okay. Once you click on strategy 4, you'll get this drop-down menu. All you have to do is click on scan, because we want to scan for tomorrow's setups. Now, if you've taken our course and you have strategy number 4, you'll know what the buy and sell signals are generated. So remember, this is not a black box. We're not just blindly choosing something to buy or sell without any idea or recognition of why it was generated. So before you even choose a strategy, you'll know what it's based off of, and you'll know exactly what all the requirements are for a signal to be generated. So once you know that, you click on scan right here in the bottom drop-down menu, and you'll see this window appear. Okay, this is the scan window next to your chart. All you have to do is, after clicking on scan, click on load symbols. After all, you want to scan through a list of symbols. Now, these symbols can be the NASDAQ 100, the S&P, they can be currency pairs, Bitcoin, futures, commodities. You pick whatever one you're interested in. In fact, we'll show you how to create your own basket of stocks. Let's say you want to have a certain amount of currency pair, forex currencies that you like to look at, or maybe stocks that you like to look at. You can create your own list, and it will automatically download those symbols. It takes probably about 5 seconds to do. Let's say we just clicked on load symbols and we chose the NASDAQ 100. Well, it automatically appears right here in this little spreadsheet. After you've done that, you've loaded the symbols, then you just simply hit click scan, because it's already formatted to scan through the entire universe of stocks in the NASDAQ for strategy 4 signals for the next day. So you click on scan, and in less than a minute, you'll see a series of green or red horizontal bars. What does that mean in the far right-hand corner? Well, the green bars simply mean that there's a buy signal in the corresponding stock, as you see here in the left-hand side. The red ones mean that there's a sell signal. Now, you can do this on daily bars. You can do this on 5-minute bars. You can do it on weekly bars. It absolutely makes no difference. We provide you with dozens of different time frames and different markets. Now, let's go back. Let's say that on that night, you would have seen that a buy signal was generated. Now, you could have done this 5 minutes before the close to see that a signal was generated, to know, so you don't have to know that night. You can actually jump on board on the close. So let's say you did this scan a few minutes before the close of the third, and you see that a buy signal is generated. Now, nothing much is going to change within the next 2 or 3 minutes, so you decide to just simply buy, let's say you buy 100 shares, or I know this is expensive stock, let's say you buy 10 shares. It makes no difference. Or even let's say you bought a call or some type of spread strategy options to the upside, all right? Because you had about 5 minutes left to go before the market closed. Well, that's how you could have taken advantage of 70 points the very next day. Obviously, some news came out. Remember, the scan and our strategies are not based on fundamental news or issues. They're based on patterns, on how we know what to read and how we know what to look for. And all of this is taught in the course. So you're not blindly taking signals the way so many other websites or chat rooms require. We want you to know why you're buying based on what the market is telling you, not based off what the institutions or based off what Elliott wave support and resistance are, or the Elliott wave counts, or the volume. We want you to know what it is based on these proprietary patterns that I've virtually been trading for 4 decades now. Okay, and they're very simple and they're very easy to identify in the course. So that's how easy it is. Now, this entire process took me about 10 minutes to explain to you, but if you did it overnight and probably 5 minutes before the close, it would probably take you maybe a minute or two, and then you could enter an order with a couple of minutes left to go in the day. All right, so let's look at some recent scan examples from November. That was just the last month prior to December here. And, so many other websites like to, cherry pick and pick the best scans or the best markets, and then you look at the date and they're like 2 years ago. We want to show you what you could have taken advantage of on some of the most recent scans, and by recent we mean the last month. Okay, so we may overlap a little before or after, but that's okay. The majority of these took place just last month. Now, if we're looking at a chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average in November, we see that it wasn't like straight up, it wasn't straight down. We had some up points here at the very beginning of the month, and then the meat of the month of November went down, but then we rallied back up towards the end of the month. So there was a lot of action going back and forth. All right, so let's look at the buy signals, some of the best buy signals we got during that time period of November that you could have taken advantage of, and these are just stocks, all right? Remember, once again, all of our strategies, all of our scans can be generated and applied to other markets and other time frames. We're going to look mainly at daily bars here, but if we wanted to, let's say we traded the currency pairs, let's say we traded the forex market. We could scan for nightly signals on the forex pairs. Let's say we traded the E-mini futures. We could scan for 5-minute bars on the E-mini futures. So it makes no difference what market, what time frame, what direction. In this presentation today, we're mainly going to just focus on stocks on daily bars, okay? All right, so if we look here in GM, we see here that on the 15th, the very middle of November, you could have scanned that night and seen that there was a buy signal generated, all right? Now, nothing much happened the next day, but if you scanned again, well, you saw that there was another buy signal generated. So if you hadn't taken advantage of the first signal, you could have easily taken advantage of the second one, and it quickly generated 5 points to the upside coming into this week in December. Now, the market has literally been falling out of bed. We saw the action that happened this past week. And all that time, this is the beauty of our strategies. Even though the market was down, there was a very nice buy signal generated here a couple of weeks ago that would have generated some profits. Let's look at Pepsi, PEP. Now, this was at the very beginning of November. A buy signal was generated, and the stock went up 8 points towards the end of November once again. If we look at KO, we see that a buy signal was generated the very last few days of October. So we're kind of just jumping the gun a little bit. But as we can see, throughout the entire month of November, the stock went up 5 points. So we had still a nice profit in a very strong downwardly trending market. Now, if you missed that signal, the beauty of this is that many times if the trend is strong enough, it will generate more signals. You could have taken advantage of a later generated signal as well in the stock. XLNX, in the very first week of November, a buy signal was generated, and the stock went up 8 points coming into this week in December. Okay, now these aren't real strong upward moves, but every once in a while you will see a nice one, such as Tesla. Now, providing where you placed your stop or what actually you purchased, you could have purchased calls here, but if you gave yourself big enough risk parameters, you wouldn't have been stopped out even in this 2 down days. But let's say you were, Well, you could have jumped back in because on the night of the 26th of November, just a few weeks ago, another buy signal was generated. So rather than lick your wounds and say, well, this stuff doesn't work, jump back in and you could have made back everything you lost and then some, because Tesla went up 34 points in the next 2 weeks coming into this week in December. Okay? This was generated in November. So these were some nice buy signals. Let's look at some sell signals, okay? In ROST, there was a sell signal generated. Now this, we jumped the gun a little bit, or actually overshot the month of November. This was generated the first day of December, and we had a nice 7-point drop coming into this week. So we would have missed November by 1 day here. But it was a nice 7 points in roughly about 3 days. And if you missed that, well, there was another sell signal generated. You could have generated about 4 or 5 points in the next 2 days. Let's look at Yelp, though. This is right in the first week of November. While we had the stocks going up that I shared with you in the buy setups, this was happening at the same time. But in Yelp, we had a sell signal generated on the 8th. You could have done a scan, let's say 5 minutes before the close. If you don't have enough count size or you don't like to actually short stock, you could have purchased a put or some type of spread strategy with options, because the stock fell 15 points in the next day. Once again, just like AZO, where it went straight up, this one went straight down. We had no idea that some negative news or something was going to make this drop 15 points. How did we know then? We knew because the stock told us. We knew because all the rules that I explain and go over in the course, you would have been able to identify prior to this 15-point one-day drop, okay? So all you're doing now is scanning through the entire universe of stocks to find these setups that you already are aware of how to identify. There's just too many. I mean, trust me, when I first learned these strategies some 40 years ago, I had to look through the entire S&P 500 on a nightly basis for the best setups. I wish I would have had the scanning tool some 40 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of time every night looking through the S&P 500. Now here's some examples here in the very first few days of November in VLO. 2 sell signals were generated. Nothing much happened until it kicked in. By the end of the month coming into this week, VLO had dropped 17 points. Okay, you could have scanned for that either the night before, or you could have scanned at the end of the day and entered your order. And when you miss that, once again, if the trend is strong enough, strategy 4 will often generate more signals. As we see here, just this past week, another sell signal was generated. If we look at RTN, well, this was in the second week, November 12th or 13th. RTN generated a sell signal. You could have found out that night on the 12th, or found out actually minutes before the close, and taking advantage of a 20-point drop coming into this past week. Once again, if the trend is strong enough, you will see more signals being generated along the way. So don't worry if you miss one. There's lots more being generated if the trend is strong enough. Let's look at Apple, all right? Everyone has been wondering why Apple has been, not participating in some rallies. It's just been acting terrible. There's always reasons to justify it, the earnings or the product, or just not doing well, the sales. It makes no difference to us. I mean, if you want to follow fundamental news, you can. We get all of our signals generated from the actual price and the patterns that are being generated. Now, just off of this 5-bar chart here, I could have told you a sell signal was generated. You could have taken advantage of the 40-point drop in the next month coming into this last week in December. Not based off any news, not based off any earnings or how well the products are selling, simply based off price and pattern. Remember, traders like to overcomplicate their trading. Traders love to add more and more things onto their trading plan because they feel that this justifies it. The more things you have to study and research, and that will mean that the more justified, the more valid a signal is. And trust me, take it from someone who used to trade that way. That's what I thought. I used to have maybe 5 or 10 indicators on my screens. I used to look at all the news wires to find out what fundamentally was happening. I used to look at all the earnings reports and estimates, and it didn't help me. When my mentors taught me to simplify things and just to look at price, that's when my trading started to become consistent. So this is what we teach you in our course, most especially in the Strategy 4 course. Then all you have to do is scan the entire universe of stocks on a nightly basis to pick the best setups that you feel qualified to take. Here's an example in Netflix now. Now, provided where you placed your stop, you may have been stopped out on this trade. Let's say you bought the puts and the next day or week it didn't do much and you said, this is not going to go down. I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit out of my put while I have some money left. Okay, so you exited out, but then guess what? Another signal was generated to go short on the 8th of November. Let's say you bought another put saying, well, maybe I got in a little bit too early. I trust the strategy. I've seen how well it works before and it's consistent, a 2-step forward, 1-step back approach. So the 1 step back was this first signal here. Let's see how this one did. Well, 68 points in 2 weeks is not that bad. You could have made back what you lost on the first one and had some more profits potentially in your hand if you had chosen to wait out for the entire 68 points. So this is what we mean by being able to be consistent as well as being able to scan for all of these consistent setups. Okay, I told you this wasn't going to be a long presentation because we're only going to be sharing you the scans that took place last month. Let's recap what we went over today. Our nightly scanner generates tomorrow's trade signals a day in advance. Wouldn't you love to have this capability to feel confident about a method that you know all the rules to, that you know how to spot on an individual basis, but you just don't have the time or the effort to be going through hundreds, if not thousands, of issues on a nightly basis in tons of different markets and tons of different time frames? Wouldn't you love to have a scanner that does this in literally minutes? So you can have the rest of your day for doing whatever you'd like, going out to dinner, relaxing, watching TV, so you don't have to spend it the way I used to, hours every night in front of some charts trying to find out what the best signals were. So ask yourself, do you think this edge could have helped your trading this past year? All right, not only the ease of use with the scanner, but having a strategy that you feel so confident in that even if you may have a loss here and there, which is perfectly normal, you feel confident that 1 or 2 signals down the road, you'll be able to hopefully make it back and then make some more. Wouldn't you like to start out 2019 in this direction? This is the great offer we have for all the attendees today. Time for taking out on your Saturday morning, we want to reward you with a really special discount. We're going to offer you our most consistent strategy. That's strategy number 4. You'll be getting instant course access. You won't have to wait for something to be shipped or mailed to you. You will get a link to the actual course. It's an online course, and you'll be able to be watching all the videos, 15 total videos altogether, and learning exactly how to trade this. You'll know all the entries, all the exits, and all the stops. And remember, even though it says stock strategy here, because this is the way I was first taught strategy for on the floor of the stock exchange by trading stocks with it, you can virtually apply it to any market and any time frame. A lot of traders think that this is a short-term type of trading module, but it isn't. You can apply it for swing trading, we have investors that use this on monthly chart because signals can be generated on monthly bars. They can also be generated on tick charts. Makes no difference. It fits every trader's time frame and every trader's direction. But we're also going to include some special bonuses with this strategy number 4 discount. All right. Firstly, as I said, it works on other markets. Let's look at a weekly chart of the euro-dollar. Here was a signal that was generated on a weekly chart of the euro-dollar. You could have scanned for this, 900 pips in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's basically about $9,000 per contract you could have potentially captured. Here's a 1-hour chart of the E-mini futures. You could have scanned and seen this signal right here. All right, gone short. 112 points. All right, that's like roughly about $6,000, close to $5,000 or $6,000 per contract you could have potentially captured if you stayed in long enough on this hourly chart. And remember Bitcoin. Well, this was taken a while back in January of this year, but when it first started going down, we told all of our students to be out of Bitcoin because it was in the sell zone. And if it's in the sell zone, you can look for selling opportunities. You could have scanned, and here was on the daily chart a sell signal. 5,000 basis points to the downside in a week. And it's gone even much lower after that. Now, let me share with you something that happened this week. If I had given this presentation a week or 2 ago and you have become a member of this course, you could have scanned on Tuesday, right before the close this week, and you would have generated a signal right here on your scanner to go short the spiders. That's the ETF that represents the S&P 500 index. Now, here's the way you could have used it. There are a number of ways. Obviously, you could have traded this if you wanted to. We know the spiders is an expensive ETF, so you could have purchased puts with a sell signal. Or let's say you didn't want to trade it. You like to use this as a directional tool because after all, if a sell signal is given in the spiders, which represents the S&P, Well, don't you think that that would mean the market's going to go lower? So even if you didn't want to trade it, this was basically a sell signal on the market. So it would tell you not to buy anything, or it would tell you to look to go short maybe something that was less expensive or a stock that you like to follow. Because we all know what happened this past week. 2 days later, the Dow Jones lost 600 points. All right, so there are two different ways to take advantage of it. This was an actual scan in the spiders that happened this past week. Now, let's talk about the special bonuses. With the other markets, with the scanner, with strategy number 4, you're also going to get 6 months of our PTS Primo charting platform absolutely free. This is a nearly $900 value. So we're throwing this in. If you don't have our platform yet, if you haven't taken a trial, you don't know how to use it, we're giving you 6 months so you can scan, so you can get the automatic up and down arrows with strategy number 4. This is the educational platform that teaches traders how to trade, and it is so simple. I can't tell you that how many testimonials I get on a nightly basis that people tell me how simple it is. In fact, I had one customer tell me in an email saying, I've been trading for years, and I won't mention the platform they're currently using, but it's a very popular platform that a lot of people like to use for options. And this student told me that she is tremendously confused when trying to use this platform, and that our platform is so simple and so much more innovative with all the different indicators and strategies applied. So this is something that we really are proud of because we want to make it simple. This is not something that's so complicated you have no idea how to use. Here's what you get with the 6 months free usage of the platform. Obviously, you're going to get strategy number 4, where all you have to do is click on the upper green strategy tab and it automatically generates the signals. You're also going to get our enhanced buy sell line features. I've spoken about this in other webinars before, but if you're not familiar, this is probably the most important tool we have at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies because it defines the overall trend. And it tells you when you're in the buy zone and in the sell zone, telling you when you should be a buyer or when you should be a seller. Now, it's not a strategy. It doesn't tell you to buy automatically or where to buy or how long to be in something. It just tells you what bias you should have. Let me show you a couple of examples here. This older chart of the QQQs. As we can see, as it was going up into the summer, you see here that price had the background of a blue color. All right, that meant it was in the buy zone because the blue background means you're in the buy zone. If price goes into the red color, that means you're in the sell zone. Now, this is not an updated chart, but in October, the QQQs went into the sell zone, and they've been there ever since. Don't you think this could have helped you? It works the same way with individual stocks. All right, FOSL, First Solar. As we see here, at this point, we had consecutive closes below the fluid buy-sell line. So this is one of the many features of our buy-sell line. At this point, you knew that you would have a seller's bias. Why? Because it was in the sell zone. So this is one of the added features you get on our platform. You also get a great new tool that I've developed with Pro Trader Strategies. This is our Strength of Trend tool, and it tells you many times when the momentum has dissipated or when it's running out of steam in a particular trend. As you saw, you get the strategy signal scanner, how easy it is to apply with the drop-down menu. Just click on scan, click on the market, and then hit scan, and it's automatically in a matter of minutes, you'll see all the signals for the next day. We have over 90 of the most prominent and popular technical indicators, but we realize that we do have a technician's bias because I am a technician. I like to look at price pattern, but we're not here to tell you how or how not to trade. Remember, we're just an educator. If you feel that you must look at news and it really helps you, well, guess what? We've applied free Bloomberg TV on the platform. We have a media icon next to our strategies. You click that on and you automatically have a page come up, our media page, that has live Bloomberg TV. Any economic report, any announcement, any earnings report that happens real time, you'll be able to see and hear right as it happens. This lastly comes with great personalized tech support. We have tremendous testimonials of people saying that tech support is amazing. I had an issue with a video. I had an issue with the loading a chart, and it was resolved in a matter of minutes. So this all comes free. It's included 6 months with this great discount. So let's break it down. This is a great discount. Let me break it down what you would be paying, and we'll show you what the price actually is. All right. This is this great offer we have for the strategy number 4 discount. Obviously, you're going to get strategy number 4. This is the 15 video course and rules manual. This is close to a $700 value, $695 value. You're also going to get the free strategy scanner, the PTS Primo charting indicator, and the add-ons that generate the up and down signals. That's another $695 value. Plus, you're getting free real time. This is the PTS Primo charts, a 6-month value of $882. That's absolutely free. So if you purchase these all separately, this would cost you normally close to $2,300. That's far too much to be asking of you, especially at the end of the year as Christmas time is rolling around, as there's a lot of expenses. We understand that. We'd love you to come on board. Don't you think we'd love to make these sales? But we want to help you to learn. Remember, there's enough for everyone to go around. So we're going to slash that price tremendously. We're not going to charge you close to $2,300. We're only going to charge you $495. That's an amazing discount. I believe that's close to 70 or 80% discount. You're going to save close to $1,800 on this, okay? $495. I mean, trust me, I'm sure that if many of you had a losing week this past week, I'm sure a lot of traders did, you probably lost a lot more than $495, okay? Wouldn't you have loved to take that money that you lost and put it into something that can educate you for a lifetime, that could get you in the consistent mode of trading? This is a great offer. Trust me, a year from today, you will have wished you took this course. Don't start off 2019 the way you started off 2018. With all these hopes and dreams that you're going to be doing well by the end of the year, you'd have that extra money for that dream vacation or for that extra income. And then as we get into 2018, the close of and the beginning of 2019, you say that there's no way you could have ever reached those goals. Why not start 2019 in the right track for only $495? That's an amazing offer to get all these things all together. Here's how to take advantage of this, okay? I developed the platform and the strategy courses with Pro Trader Strategies. They handle all the discounts and all the tech support. So you can either email them. I would suggest calling them directly at area code 310-598-6677 right here at the bottom of the screen to ask them any questions concerning the discount, or if you'd like to structure a payment plan, or if you just want to purchase over the phone. But if you just want to purchase online, well, this link you see below here is the link that takes you to that $495 discount online. Just put in your credit card. Now, that's not a live link. You'd have to copy and paste that onto your browser. But if you look at the chat box on the far right-hand corner of the GoToWebinar column, in the chat section, there is a live link there. So you can simply click that on. It will automatically take you to the sign-up page. Now, as I promised, I'll leave the last portion of today's presentation for answering any questions. So I'm going to leave this screen up here, copy down this information, but remember, act quickly, because next week I'll have an entirely different feature, an entirely different discount, and this one will probably go back to close to $2,300. So you don't want to lose that by sitting on that and say, well, I'll watch the video, and then I'll make my decision in a couple of weeks. It most likely won't be there, and you'll have to wind up paying the full $2,300, okay? Let's see. Stan is saying the AZO trade is not confirmed. Remember, Stan, confirmation, I won't go into it because there's a lot of people that don't understand that. Confirmation is the basic structure of our format. But if you've seen in the classes and what we've taught in a lot of our seminars, that is just the basic structure. But you are always free to enter and exit anywhere you'd like. Once the basic pattern has been formatted, you can buy at the market on the close. You can place a limit lower. It's up to you. We suggest you use the confirmation, but many of our students do not trade with the confirmation. So remember, you have the freedom. As I just stated about 5 minutes ago, we are not here to tell you how to trade. We're just educating you with some high probability standards. If you decide to take them or not is entirely up to you, okay? See, I know you have a lot of strategies. How many do you get to use for your platform? Well, with this particular discount, you're just going to get strategy number 4, but you're going to get a lot of other free things, such as the buy-sell features. You're going to get that strength of trend tool. You're also going to get our top-bottom 25% features, which are a short-term trend identifier. There's a lot of great opportunities. I would suggest calling up. There's no obligation. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They can maybe throw in an extra free strategy for you. But we have upwards of close to 10 strategies altogether. We can't put all of them on there because that would literally run close to $10,000. And even with a great 50% discount, you'd still have to be paying close to $5,000. We don't want to do that. We'd like to give you one of our best in terms of consistency, which is strategy number 4, along with a lot of the tools, and then give you a minimum of price to pay for that. So $495 is an amazing offer to get one of our most consistent strategies and our best strategy in terms of consistency, along with all the other features. So this is a great, great offer, Jeff. I strongly recommend you take advantage of it if you want to purchase one of our most consistent strategies, strategy number 4. It by far is our most popular one, okay? People are asking once again, can this be applied to intraday futures? Yes, I use it on the intraday futures. I use strategy number 4, trading intraday E-mini. That's my main market of choice these days. So you can use it trading short term. And there's a common fallacy. A lot of people think, well, if Steve uses this for intraday trading, I guess this is an intraday strategy. No, we have tons of students who use it for weekly bars, and so they trade it for swing trading. It's all relative depending on what chart or time frame you're looking at. If you're looking at a monthly bar, well, sure, you'll still get signals generated, but maybe you'll get maybe one a month generated as opposed to dozens generated on daily bars, and as opposed to maybe hundreds generated throughout the month on 5-minute bars. So it all depends what time frame and what you're looking for, okay? Remember, as we close up here, this is a phenomenal discount. As I said, roughly about 70 or 80% off of what you would normally be paying. You owe it to yourself to really take advantage of it before it goes away, because as I stated, the majority of all traders start out the year with all these hopes and dreams, and they're never realized. And most of the time, you'll be sold by some guy who's touting some $10,000 master system that never fails. It's been back tested about 10 years, and it has thousands of percentage points that it generates. And, trust me, I've fallen for those things too. When I first started trading, I did the same thing. I would spend tens of thousands of dollars, and I knew in a matter of weeks that this stuff didn't work. Why would you waste your time and effort and money doing that? Many of you probably already have, and you kick yourself for wasting that amount of money. Why not invest yourself? For less than $500, you get all this great information, and you can start getting on that road to consistency. And one thing I didn't mention, with all of our courses, most especially with this, you will get yours truly, myself, as your personal mentor. So for any question you have, you will get my personal email address. You can always contact me, and I'll be there right alongside with you, answering any questions you may have if you're having difficulty or you don't understand a certain setup, okay? After the cost of the platform, after the 6 months, what the cost of the platform and data? I believe that's probably a better question for Pro Trader Strategies, since I said they handle all the tech support and all the data and discount issues. But I believe it's roughly $97 per month, which is still very inexpensive. I know some platforms I've traded have charged me $500 a month, and they don't offer, in my little finger what we have on our PTS Primo charting platform. They just basically gave me charts. So this is still a great price, but for 6 months, you're not going to have to spend anything. Those are real-time charts, and they're all given to you, okay? This is a great offer, Jeff. Take advantage of it. And like I said, I'm not saying you personally, but I'm sure a lot of traders out there lost money this past week with the markets. I'm sure you lost probably more than $4.95. Wouldn't you have loved to have taken that and put it back into some strong educational purposes and things that can get you on track, okay? So once again, copy down this information. If you have more questions about data, about discounts, about tech support, contact Pro Trader Strategies. That is their department. They know all of that information. If you have, once you become a student, any questions about trading, about certain markets, about how to apply the strategies, how to apply the scanning, you can send directly to me, because I am basically the teaching side of the company. And I will teach you all that I know and all that I use so that you can get on track using this, okay? As we close here, remember, this deal will probably not be here in a week from now. So take advantage of it. If you're really serious about getting your trading started in the right direction, at least call up Pro Trader Strategies. There's absolutely no obligation to get some more information for you to make a very qualified decision, okay? I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday morning. I really wish you the best of luck, and I look forward to all of you in the new Strategy Number 4 course, along with the scanner and 6 months free usage of our platform. Thanks for taking time out this morning. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.